winning side of trying to make sure that our community is healthy and safe. I grew up in Olathe. I currently live in Kansas City, Missouri. I was a social worker at Safe Home for 3 years, answering crisis line calls, so answering our neighbors when they're in unhealthy relationships, or they love someone who's in an unhealthy relationship. I also had the opportunity to work at Restart for 3 years as well, both in our Johnson County location and in our our Jackson County location and our Johnson County location. When COVID hit, I became the case manager of our Johnson County Transitional Living Program. Throughout those 6 years, working directly with individuals experiencing homelessness, I will tell you that they are just our neighbors coming into a hard time. A lot of them might be at odds with family members, or they're from out of state, or they aged out of the foster care system, or something along those lines, or they just fell in love with someone and it was really unhealthy, or they had a job that they lost. To see the amount of progress folks can make when they are housed is beautiful. It is something that will fundamentally change you as a person because it will give you hope in any possibility. I've been really lucky to continue to work with some youth and see those changes in their lives as they've grown up, because we've had a mentorship relationship. I've also worked in the service industry, and I've had to refer a lot of my coworkers to those same services that I used to work for. We need this for our community. Thank you.
The next speaker is Keelan Menzel, followed by Savannah Milner, and then Jill O'Connor.
My name is Keelan Menzel. I'm a licensed social worker and a homeless services and mental health clinician here in Johnson County. And I identify this service center as the necessary next step to address homelessness in this community. I've been really disappointed by the villainization and unfounded idea that this service center will primarily benefit individuals who aren't from Johnson County. While personally, I believe in helping anyone in need, I can concede that this is a nuanced concern for the cohesion of the community and for individuals who don't want to be displaced. Continuums of care across the nation are having similar discussions and are coordinating to ensure that the proper region is providing services to the people that they're responsible for. Many cities have already drafted ordinances to start connecting and transporting unhoused individuals back to their community of origin, which will be a concern for this county. This county has been relying on its neighboring cities to address problems that have been created here. And when former Johnson County residents are asked to return here, there's nowhere for them to go but the streets, or to an already full 1020 shelter in the winter. My job in working with unhoused folks is the joy of my life, but it's exceedingly difficult to provide care and treatment when there are surprisingly limited resources in this county to benefit individuals with the highest vulnerabilities in need of basic shelter and care. The benefit of the proximity to 1020 shelter is that service providers can work together. And by already adding a county-assigned homeless services clinician working with folks at both locations, the hope is to intervene prior to co-responder calls and police contact. The direct question you're being asked is this the right location? But you found yourself in a position of power to answer, are we going to do something with the only option we have now and the time-limited funding that will be lost, or are we going to allow this problem to expand out of our control? It's imperative that you look beyond just the scope of the special use permit and ask to do the necessary thing for the integrity of this community. Please vote yes. Thank you.
The next speaker is Savannah Milner, followed by Jill O'Connor, and then Steve Wertz.
Good evening. My name is Savannah, and I am a lifelong Johnson County resident, and I'm also a homeless service provider in the Johnson County area. I just want to start out by saying that housing is a right, not a privilege. And this shelter is the first step in bridging the gap for our folks experiencing homelessness and becoming permanently housed. I support the implementation of this shelter for our county's most vulnerable residents. Thank you.
We've got Jill O'Connor, followed by Steve Wertz, and then Marge Lawler.
She gave a quick speech. Good evening, Council. Jill O'Connor from Overland Park. Thank you for holding this public hearing. This facility was originally sold to all of us as a shelter for Johnson County and called the Johnson County Homeless Shelter. That morphed into the Homeless Services Center. I have renamed it the World Homeless Center, so Homeless Shelter. And the only protected class we should be talking about are the Johnson County residents. I'm very grateful the Lenexa Planning Commission denied issuing the special use permit on this project, and I'm hoping you do the same. I want to clarify for everyone in the room that the only reason we are all here is because Mike Kelly, the chair of the Board of County Commissioners, took on this project. That's the only reason. But for him, the concept of a homeless shelter would have never been pursued by a government entity on the backs of Johnson County taxpayers. This is a resume builder for him. He's virtue signaling, that's all. And I want to let everyone know here that the four on the Board of County Commissioners who supported this project with Chairman Kelly and who voted against Commissioner O'Hara's 2 amendments to keep this for Johnson County residents only and to keep it for American citizens only are Shirley Allenbrand, Jeff Myers, Becky Fast, Jenny Hanslick, and of course, Mike Kelly. None of those 5 are here tonight. We have a chance to replace Shirley Allenbrand and Jeff Myers in November by voting in Mike Storm and Mark Hamill, and we must retain Commissioner Charlotte O'Hara to bring some common sense back to the VOCC. You must have a Lenexa first mindset. This facility brings nothing good to your city, so why would you vote for it? I urge you to support your planning commission by voting no to this rural homeless shelter. Thank you.
The next speaker is Steve Wertz, followed by Mark Lawler and then Jennifer Branch.
Good evening, it's getting late. Thanks for this opportunity. In some areas of our country, people can't even do this, so it's a privilege, and I want to thank you for that. My wife and kids, we live in Overland Park, and we are advocates for the homeless and for anybody who's in trouble. But this project is deeply flawed. It's been deeply flawed from the beginning. I almost want to think save the homeless from this project because there are better solutions available. Earlier speaker talked about what his church was willing to do, and I think this is a faith-based issue. This isn't for government to solve. Governments don't take care of people, they take care of things. People take care of people. There's 2 great organizations in the area, Hillcrest Hope and also City Union Mission. Hillcrest Hope said a few days ago that they are debt-free. Debt-free. They've got a consistent stream of income. They know and have their supporters ready and willing and able to help. They also have a place at 71st and Quivira that could be homeless prevention center up and running. So you're being urged tonight by a lot of people just to do something. Well, how about do the next right thing? This isn't a project that'll succeed. It's been flawed from the beginning. Everybody's gone through it ad infinitum. But right now and everything, you can turn this back and make people come up with a better solution. And maybe, again, it's a faith-based solution for people who really want to take care of people. Because I work for the Department of Defense and the Veterans Affairs, and they can't take care of their people. There's veterans that are dying on the streets, and the VA keeps throwing more money at it. And another big issue is that the site of this proposed shelter is right on the X for human trafficking and for drugs. Fentanyl will kill them quickly, so please consider that. Thanks for your time.
The next speaker is Marge Lawler, followed by Jennifer Branch and then Evan Woods.
Good evening. I'm Margaret Lawler, a longtime Olathe resident. I don't know about you, but I believe all of us in this room tonight are neighbors. People experiencing homelessness in Johnson County are our neighbors too, like it or not. When you define neighbor from a moral perspective rather than a geographic one, everything changes. Doing right by our vulnerable neighbors, loving these neighbors is what the HSC is all about. Author Elizabeth Gilbert was spot on when she wrote this. Those of us who are warm and safe and dry and well-fed must show up for those who are cold and wet and endangered and hungry. That is a rule of life. Every ethical and religious and spiritual tradition agrees on that rule. Personally, I don't think shelters always end homelessness, but they go a long way toward getting our unhoused neighbors off the street. Restart's plan isn't perfect. We humans, we don't do perfect, but it's a big step in a very good direction. We all know that some neighbors are here tonight to voice objections to the HSC. People living or working in the area have concerns, legitimate concerns. Change is hard and uncomfortable and messy. Some neighbors here tonight have been swayed by misinformation, and if you have intentionally spread disinformation in hopes of blocking this project completely. Our neighbors experiencing homelessness deserve better. Mayor Sayers, council members, I encourage you to show up for our vulnerable neighbors. Approve the permit. Let folks know that Lenexa gets it. Life is about people, not things.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The next speaker is Jennifer Branch, followed by Evan Woods, and then Gentry Greasy.
Jennifer Branch. Going twice.
Moving on, Evan Woods, Gentry Greasy, followed by Matthew Berenstein.
Evan Woods. Going twice.
Okay, Gentry Greasy, Matthew Berenstein, and then Nina Foster.
What is your name, please?
Hi, I'm Gentry. I am in favor of the special use permit. I would like to respond to the argument that the shelter will create a dangerous environment near multiple schools. In 2022, my husband and I lived in apartments at 9808 Rose Hill Road, directly facing Rose Hill Elementary School's entrance. One freezing March morning, a homeless woman took refuge in the hallway leading to the front doors of the apartments in that unit. She stayed there for about 48 hours, in which we and our neighbors provided meals and allowed her to use our restroom. It's easy for us to push the issue of homelessness aside, that it isn't our responsibility. But like in that story, homelessness is literally at our doorstep, and if it's not our responsibility, then whose is it? The voices against this homeless shelter say it will increase the frequency of homelessness near these schools. This story exemplifies homelessness is already here. The distance from my front door to Rose Hill Elementary School's front door is 322 feet. The La Quinta to Rose Hill Elementary School is 3,696 feet. Homelessness is already here in our community, and so we can continue to not take responsibility for members of our community and continue to send them to other counties, or we can use the opportunity that we have now to create a long-term solution. I respect the intentions of families wanting to protect their children. My husband and I are considering starting a family in the community that we want to raise it in. Denying this shelter on the grounds of protecting our children tells our children the implicit message that those who are different than us are scary. Those in a lower socioeconomic class should fend for themselves, that your worth in society is dependent on what you contribute. And it's more important to us that we protect our children from that message. Throughout this process, I keep hearing that we need to take emotion out of politics, yet the arguments joined with this statement have been premised on fear, and fear is just as much an emotion as my compassion. Let's not make a decision based on fear that will keep us from being a people and a government that acts for all of our citizens. Thank you for your time.
The next speaker is Matthew Bernstein, sorry for the typo on the name, followed by Nina Foster, and the last person on our list is Chester Bell.
So Mr. Bernstein, going twice.
Next up, Nina Foster.
Good evening, Madam Mayor and City Council members. My name is Mina Foster, and I am the Social Services Director at the Salvation Army in Olathe, but we serve all of Johnson County. For the past 27 years, we have successfully provided a family shelter for those Johnson Countyans who are experiencing homelessness. However, there was and there continues to be a growing need for a shelter for single adults in Johnson County. A few years ago, the Salvation Army received a grant to provide hotel vouchers for Johnson Countyans experiencing homelessness. We decided, why can't we run it out of a hotel like we do our own shelter on site? So we partnered with a local hotel, Catholic Charities, Johnson County Mental Health, Health Partnership Clinic, Jewish Family Services, and Restart, and we did something unique. We, instead of placing people in the hotel with our good wishes, we provided wraparound on-site services for each individual staying in the hotel with those vouchers. They received medical care and treatment, mental health support, intensive case management services to navigate resources, employment opportunities, find housing, and there was a lot of accountability. One of the agencies also provided a weekly food drop-off. The results were astounding. Most of the persons served were single adult Johnson Countyans who had experienced chronic homelessness. 98% of those were housed either just prior to that 90-day exit or within a week afterwards. Any individual who was in a hotel from another county and had ties there, we helped them go back to that county. Anyone who sort of landed here and heard, hey, they got hotel vouchers, we helped them move on to their next destination. We served Johnson Countyans, and those who were housed through our program were considered Johnson County their home. They worked here, they raised their children here, they went to school here, they paid taxes here, and they became homeless here. Done correctly, in our partnership with Restore, we've seen it done correctly. Lenexa has a history and a reputation of being a visionary community. We all know, that's scaring me. We all know that. So I urge you to use that legacy of allowing boldness to abate fear and approve the SUP and help us restore Johnson Countyans instead of hoping they'll go away. Thank you.
Apologies for the mispronunciation of your first name. Last on our list today is Chester Bell.
Hi guys, I am a homeless advocate. I was homeless for about 3 years in Kansas City. The only thing that helped me get out of homelessness was somebody gifting me a loan. I was on drugs at the time. I had a lot of family issues going on, and a lot of problems. I had some mental health issues. Within a week of being housed, I was clean. I was on my prescription medications. I was back to feeling like a normal person because I was able to get safe, have some sleep, get a few meals, get to be a person again. When you're stuck outside, you're stuck dealing with the elements, other homeless people, drug people, traffickers, all that stuff. But you don't want to be in those situations. It's a necessity of survival. You take on those things because you feel you have no other choice. A program like this would allow people to have that freedom to be able to address their issues and situations kind of on their own timeline. When you're forced to do something, you don't want to do it. If I tell you you have to clean this floor right now, are you going to get out of your seat and do it? No. Because I told you to. Definitely not. If I come and tell you that we need to clean this place together, you're going to step up a lot more easily. So this type of program works with people together to make them whole again and gives them the chance that they wouldn't otherwise get, and they're not going to have being on the streets. I've watched 377 people die over the last 5 years in Kansas City, Missouri because of a complete lack of housing, transitional, temporary, or otherwise. I strongly urge you to vote yes on this project, because if you don't, you're cheating your community. You're hurting your own reputation in the long run.
Thank you, Mr. Bell.
A vote no will be a lasting legacy that you won't want. Vote yes, please.
I want to thank you all for your patience and for your thoughtful comments. We are going to take our second break a little bit early. We'll return again in 10 minutes with questions that we've received and then begin with council deliberations. We'll see you back for approximately 10 minutes.
Wow. There should really be food trucks outside, you know? Right, what they do is they'll stretch. Yeah. You're all Girl Scouts, but that was like really fun.
What do you think people are doing?
Wow, they put away all the chairs out here, huh?
It is fun. It was full earlier. They cleared it out.
Huh. Are you just a volunteer with good faith?
Huh?
Are you just a volunteer with good faith, or are you one of the leadership?
Just here to see what passes.
Just to see the passes.
See what happens.
I had actually never heard of the Good Faith Network before.
It's a group of a whole bunch of churches.
Yeah.
They just band together to create multiple opportunities for justice
And helping people.
quality in town.
I think that's beautiful when people help other people.
And it's a very non-denominational or territorial preference.
Not like that old Catholic charities. It only helps Catholic people.
That's right.
It'll slap you on the hand of the ruler.
It's a whole bunch of
Yeah.
A lot of the bigger churches are not participating. It's most medium-sized churches. Some of the great big churches, they want to do their own thing and get their own
Yeah. The mega churches.
accolades. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not so much opposed to the center, but it being tax funded, I think, is problematic. I think when people donate on their own to help others, that's beautiful. Good Faith Network sounds like it's funded mostly by churches, people who want to donate,
I
right?
don't mind it being tax funded.
Yeah.
It's, happy to pay the taxes to get the free gun equity and amenities that I have.
Yeah.
To live in a place like this.
Have you donated to Restart? Excellent. Thank you. Thank you. Not everyone says yes to that.
I've donated to Eaton's Village too. That's a great opportunity too.
Yeah.
They're building houses for people, tiny houses.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Thank you. I repurposed one of their signs. I repurposed one of their signs, the group that was passing them out.
Okay.
I'm not sure they like that.
She thought it was amazing until she figured out that they weren't Amish. And then that, what are they? I'm not actually sure.
It's obviously not Poland.
The guy next to
Yeah.
And I didn't understand, so then we didn't have I think that because Tim was poorly attended, it was aggressive event. And poorly attended. But anyway, Maddie, she's married. Just out of high school, or just out of college. So with her husband, and pictures of Maddie and I were going to be roommates at his until my husband died.
On my back.
So I did it. Anyway, so we're at the picture log and we're getting ready to go out the door. And this girl comes up, she says, Bill? I said, you too? And I was out of there as quick as I could because I couldn't remember who this was. I knew, but I couldn't. We were home.
Okay.
Very smart.
What's that?
Pardon me?
I gave it to Jake. Then I gave the rest to John. Oh, you're so funny. I was like, I can't go back.
We started meeting with them, and I chose not to continue to go that route.
How do we do that?
And that's why I said
Yeah, I don't. I really don't.
I thought they're all photocopies of each other, so I might as well customize mine, you know? Give it some heart.
Restart,
I thought their legal threats were particularly classless. Especially when they're coming here asking for something and, oh, by the way, if you don't give it to us, we'll sue you.
I just don't like it.
What?
I just don't like this project. And,
Yeah.
I mean,
I think helping
I've just
people's
seen what
fine.
it does to other
Yeah.
communities. It will grow more here.
Mhm.
I mean, if it's not gonna end homelessness. Not for here. It might end it in something. Maybe it'll end it in a lot of it in KCMO. It'll come
Yeah.
up here and live.
Yeah, they want the premium shelter with the included dental plan. Did you know that?
No, I didn't know.
Yeah, I don't have a dental
I
plan.
never heard that. I
Jesus.
don't either. And I just paid a lot this year. For that.
They're going to get dental coverage as part of their inhabitants of the shelter.
I didn't know that.
And
I might go stay there 30 days because that's expensive.
Johnson County, it really pays to be homeless here.
You know,
The
but you have to
great
get
pay,
filling
great
here,
conditions.
and it's about $200 a filling.
Yeah.
Well, I don't have dental either.
Yeah. If people want to give their own damn money, that's great. Just don't give my money. Don't give people who can't afford it.
It shouldn't be a government function. It's a church function.
People have trouble paying for their houses largely because of the property taxes. And that's where this is coming from. That's the ongoing money is going to come from that. Even the federal money came from us, came from the people.
Well, that's what I say. They should give back. If they got 6 million people who's in COVID, give it back.
Yeah. This is not COVID.
Get started again, please. Before we get started here, we do have a bit of procedural policy to get through. As we imagine, we will go past midnight. I need a motion and a second to extend the meeting past midnight, please. Motion by Chelsea, second by Courtney, all in favor? We also had a chance to confer with staff during the break and found that the questions from the public comment period were rhetorical. So we are going to start with questions and comments from the governing body. Questions for staff or the applicant? Go ahead, Bill.
Thank you, Mayor. Scott, in your presentation, when did we start that TIF district?
2007.
2007? Correct. Also, in your presentation, you said something about extra rooms in La Quinta. Well, could you tell me that again, please?
Right, so there are approximately 95 to 100 hotel rooms. I'd have to get the exact number maybe from the architect, but there are only 75 rooms dedicated to 50 rooms to the shelter and 25 to the transitional housing component. So that's 75 rooms of the 95 to 100.